Welcome to the All About Nothing podcast. The views expressed on this program are the opinions of the hosts. Listeners are encouraged to follow the show on Twitter at AAN_pod or at theallaboutnothing.com. You can email the show at aboutnothing.com. You may also call and leave the show a message at 803-672-0533. Thank you for listening.
All right, welcome everybody to the All About Nothing podcast. We are live on Facebook. Zach King with us, Trent Clark, and this week a special guest, Justin Osborne of SUSTO. Welcome, everyone.
How's it going, Barrett?
How y'all doing? Thanks
doing
for
well,
having me,
Justin.
fellas.
No, thank you for being here. This is awesome, and because clearly with all the communication that's gone back and forth between you and Zach, I'm going to let Zach do the intro because he gave me a bunch of notes, and don't think that as I don't know who you are. I know who you are for sure now. And I subscribe to Apple Music. I have all 5 of your albums already downloaded on my phone. I've been listening all week.
Thank you.
But again, I think Zach should be the one that actually enlightens us as to exactly who Justin Osborne is and who SUSTO is. So, Zach, please take it away.
Oh, well, Justin, again, thank you for being here and coming onto the show with us. But Justin has been a part of my life musically since at least 2008, when you started out with Sequoia. But it's been an ever-evolving train of music and thought that I have followed. And you're an amazing musician. You do some of the most unique things, and I love that. And anybody that I've gotten onto the SUSTO train or even the Sequoia train when it came to my fiance, it was they instantly were like, holy crap, we got to have more. And I'm like, yeah, well, come to shows, let's go to shows, that kind of thing. And that's where you and I first met, was at a show, and we had a deep, awesome conversation. And I asked you 3 years ago for my first podcast that I had started to come on, and you were gracious enough to be like, let's do the damn thing. And you know, the ways of life come, but now you're here, and we're here to talk about SUSTO and the crazy stuff going on right now and how as an artist you're taking it. But Justin Osborne, welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. I'm a humble songwriter from Charleston, so I'm glad to be on. Absolutely. Speaking with you guys. I appreciate the kind words too, Zach. Thank you, and from all you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're like I said, we're really, really excited, and let's just to dispel any rumors or anything. Generally, before these shows, we generally get together and we have a discussion. And I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but I have to acknowledge that Zach and Justin had a moment here just a few minutes ago. So Zach is getting married. Zach is also having a baby. Well, okay, Zach's wife is having a baby, and
not
Zach
Zach helping out.
Yeah,
please, not Zach.
There was a moment there that he was involved in that, and so I want to hear it again because I want it on the record. But Zach is actually going to have one of your SUSTO songs, Justin, performed for their first dance, and Justin, Zach, if you would please tell us about that again. Oh, hey,
there's the fam.
Yeah. My wife and daughter are about to go for a walk, so
excellent.
Say hi, Harriet. Can you say hello?
Hello, Harriet.
Hey there, Harriet.
This is my daughter, Harriet.
Hello, Harriet.
Megan.
Oh, hey, beautiful. Hey, Megan.
How y'all doing?
It's great.
Yeah, well, Justin and I were talking about it. The song's actually a Sequoia song, but it's called "Live Forever" off of the Ghost Town album, and that's going to be
Sequoia. Was my it was my old band I kind of had from high school through about age. I guess I was in that. I was like 17 to like 26. It was that band I was in. But.
Right. And Gabrielle and I it's going to be our first dance song. When I showed it to her, she was like, this is amazing. And Justin, you just kind of told us like, hey, that's actually a song from my mother to my dad kind of thing that I wrote. That's all about that.
Yeah. My mom, whenever I was like a sophomore in college, like I went to the Citadel out of high school. It was like a thing my parents kind of pushed me to do.
Oh man.
I ended up leaving my junior year. It wasn't like a bad experience. I'd say it was probably good for me, but wasn't where I was trying to be career wise. My mom had breast cancer my sophomore year when I was there, and I was kind of away because I was there, and I was but I would come home and my mom was really convinced she was going to, you know, pass away at some point. And luckily she survived. My dad has since then and recently passed, but that's a totally different thing. But that song was one that she kind of inspired me to write because it was, she wanted a message to my dad to just kind of convey the love she had, because it's about living forever, like wanting to like not have to die just so you can spend more days with the person you care about. And so that's, I don't know. It's
whole rewinding everything. I'll do it again just to have that moment with you. I love that whole aspect of it. But I mean, there's songs, gosh, off of your new album, Ever Since I Lost My Mind, that are, I think, beautifully romantic, just like Last Century. I think that's amazing. Weather Balloons.
Thank you.
Oh my God. When the piano version, and forgive me for not remembering her name. You have a video where
Christina. She's actually from South Carolina too. Like she lives in Nashville, and we started touring together. And she was like, "Oh yeah, I grew up in Florence." It's like, so did I.
Once you're in South Carolina, man, you can touch anybody, man.
I know. There's a connection, you know.
For sure.
Technically, that's not true. Once you're in South Carolina, you can't actually touch everyone. So Trent, I need to.
I'm sorry. No, hold on. Not anybody. With consent, of course.
You know, so I take notes when we have guests. I take notes on things that we talked about. And one of the things you just mentioned, the piano. I said I actually wrote. I am a sucker for when they put piano music, or when they put piano in rock and roll or country music or anything like that. Like, and you probably see I have been a Ben Folds 5 fan since like 92. You guys were 5 years old and maybe 8 years old, and Trent, I'm guessing you were somewhere around 7.
I was there.
I
was thinking about y'all though. I know y'all was going ham for me, so that's all that matters.
Yeah. You were there for it, even at a young age.
Yeah,
you know? That's right.
Back in the day, Barrett, when dinosaurs roamed the earth.
Now I'm just curious everybody's age, because you guys intimately know each other. I'm like the new guy. So
no. So I'm 32.
Oh, okay. So I'm like a young gun then. I'm only 33. So
I'm 29.
We're right there. Yeah.
You're 29.
Yeah, they make me seem like I'm young.
You're the young gun.
Yeah.
You got a 2, and it's on the right side of the digits. Man.
Oh man, chill out.
And
my
I'm
brother's
41.
29. Y'all are just like on the precipice of everything. Basically.
Yeah.
You've already got everything behind you, and you got everything in front of you too. 29 is like the best.
I know what life is without a cell phone. So
there you go.
As long as I got that in me, I'm good.
Where's
29 is like the new 41. 21 is 41, like the new 19.
Okay, we got some sage wisdom in the house too.
Yeah. We tell him that. That's where he gets his voice from.
Not yet old, but been around. You know what I mean?
Oh, fellas, I'm blushing.
We call it seasoned. He is real seasoned.
Barrett has
very seasoned.
Well, I don't know if we can give it.
Not like salt and pepper, but more like Old Bay, right?
Yeah.
My wife's family's all from New England, so she would love to hear the Old Bay reference.
Crab cakes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Crab cakes and lobster.
Well, not just New England. We got a lot of Baltimore people in our family too. So.
Oh yeah, there you go. Baltimore is Baltimore's one of my favorite cities on the East Coast for sure.
What's your football team?
Well, Trent.
Mine?
Trent done ruined
Yeah. I'm sorry. I need
college or NFL.
Hold on. Let's get this out the way.
I mean, I know
first.
y'all are in Columbia, so I don't want to get.
Let me get this out the way first. What is your college team? Come on.
All right, so I mean, I live in Charleston. You know, like okay. I'm a college Charleston graduate, by the way, the Citadel. So like, I don't really have a lot of skin in the game.
Okay.
My dad was a Clemson graduate.
Okay.
Who went to USC Sumter for like a couple of years. Classes? My dad always rooted for both. We were like an anomaly in the state of South Carolina. Like, so I'm a Clemson fan at heart, but I'm like, I'm a South Carolina football fan in general. Like,
nobody's perfect, Justin. It's okay.
I'm sorry. That's such a cop out. It's like you got.
She's like, I'm a little both. I'm on both sides.
I am. My wife is currently in graduate school at Clemson though, so I'm probably going to lean towards Clemson. I'm sorry. I know y'all are USC folks.
It's okay.
Hey, look, man.
No, Trent's a Clemson fan. This has been something. Trent and I have been in a band together years ago. A rap group that I played guitar for, and we would go all over, but it was always about the football. It would come down at the end, and Trent be like, "You see, see Clemson whip y'all ass the other day.
That's pretty much the story of the last like 5 years at least. But
I
remember being in high school though and getting let down and going to like the Clemson Carolina game at my friend's house, like watching and like, oh wow.
It's okay, man. It's okay.
It's football season right now.
Hey, it's football season, baby.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say we've had worse. I promise.
I told y'all it's brewery Sunday for me. So if I let a few burps rip, that's me. I'm just.
I understand.
We got
all of you.
If nothing else, I strive to be authentic.
There you go. Hey, no, that's where. Now you said you all live in Charleston, and that does the album, and I didn't know this until Zach actually informed me, but the album that's live from the Australian Music Hall of Fame. I had to ask. I said that's awesome. They went all the way to Australia, and Zach,
it was a marketing ploy early on.
Great,
I had the marketing in mind early on. I was like, we're only gonna. It was funny because like that, I'm joking, but that's like serious. I was like, I had been in this other band before that like toured the Southeast and the Midwest, and I was like, I was starting SUSTO. I was like, we need to do things that are gonna make the band like elevate the band's image. Right. And so like early on, besides playing like Charleston and Columbia, I was like, we're only gonna play cities that have major league sports teams. So I was only targeting shows in like Charlotte and Raleigh. They got the Hurricanes. And
they got the Canes.
And Atlanta and DC, stuff like that. I was like, you know what? Like, I've done this whole like grassroots thing. Like, I was like, and maybe we should do a live album. I need to not have my address in there. Sorry. But like maybe we do a live album and just act like it was somewhere else. But also we had been kind of like jokingly referring to our house at the time as the Australian Country Music Hall of Fame, which is something that came up amongst friends. And it was funny though, because I was working at this bar called the Royal American here in Charleston, and like he saw that we started this is back when like you could easily geotag something like before you had to like verify it. And he saw that we were geotagging our house on Line Street in Charleston as the Australian Country Music Hall of Fame. And he was like, what's the connection there? It turns out my ex-boss and like still my mentor and friend was like married or dated some girl in Australia whose family actually owned the real Australian Country Music Hall.
Oh my God.
And so he was like, just thought it was crazy. But we always called the house that. You can still search geotag like in Charleston, and like Australian Country Music Hall of Fame comes up, and it's 66 Line Street at Charleston, South Carolina.
That's awesome.
And it's like we're really hoping for like a historical landmark at some point. It's like this is where SUSTO was started. This is where 2 songs off their first album were recorded in the
Absolutely. You'll have the bus come by, people unload, take pictures, and
I'll have to start the tour though. I'll have to like. No one's gonna do it. No one's gonna do it for me. I got to start the tour. That's gonna be my retirement. I'll do like a SUSTO tours of Charleston.
Hey man, Charleston, man, it's too many places for you to do. Like they got so many plantations out there. Man.
Oh, don't get me started on that.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
No, I'm with you on that. We went to one for a wedding, and I was like,
it's awkward.
I don't want to be here.
But it's land for days though. Social distancing. Yeah. It's real easy to do there.
I want to like just circumvent all the I like a modern history of Charleston tours. Just like this is where the first brewery was started in Charleston.
Absolutely. The good stuff.
Oh, of course, yeah.
No, I'm not trying to negate that stuff. The history of Charleston is something that's important for people to know when they come here.
Oh, of course.
To me, I have a friend who was a walking tour guide for a while, and he would say that people would come here like literally like excited because they were like, because in some ways people treat it like Confederate Disneyland, and that makes me so upset. Sure. It's like, you gotta be really honest about Charleston's history and Charleston's present and Charleston's future, and but yeah. I joke about doing the musical tours too though, but it's honestly a thing too, like just like the Charleston music scene has undergone a few things in recent years that kind of sparked a more inclusive less whitewashed music kind of perspective too, that like people kind of getting called out for some stuff that was painful, but like everybody kind of went through together to kind of like find some healing that I'm not getting into the details of it, but
I mean,
you know,
I feel
I'm
Columbia
really
went through
proud
the
of,
same thing.
yeah, and you know,
5
I'm really
points was bad.
I'm proud of everybody, like, you know, at least trying to have a conversation. I mean, not everybody, but a lot of folks trying to have a conversation to make not just the South, but our state a more modern place to live and prosper and make art and you know, celebrate together, you know.
Absolutely.
For sure.
I mean, the state of South Carolina has, you know, I'm originally from Atlanta, and I can tout, you know, the music talent, the artistry that has come out of Georgia and whatnot. But when I moved here to South Carolina 20 years ago, it was it was eye-opening. There was a firm foundation of just talent. And you know, and some of it I crap on because I'm just not, you know, some of it I'm not into. I don't want to listen to any names, Villanova, but it's I get it. Look, there are plenty of people that are Villanova fans. I'm excited for them. I'm
not saying anything right now.
They are not. There is definitely some talent there. I'm not, but that's as far as. But it's you know, I mean, there's I worked at one particular place. There was a guy, and I can't remember his name exactly, but he calls himself something the poet. And like every event that we had at work, they would have him go up on stage and read his poetry, and he would also just do he would do slam poetry and stuff like that. And I think he's got a record deal right now. But it's incredible. I mean, you see the artwork everywhere, and Columbia, like just the leadership in Columbia has I don't want to say allowed, but they have built into it as well.
Yeah.
Say what?
Yeah, I think it took a long time for Columbia to finally start even getting up that hill to the point where to even be there. And now things are changing a little bit, and when you go downtown, there's more now you're going to be playing, hopefully, maybe, I don't know, fingers crossed, September. I don't know. You were supposed to come to the
this September
music farm. Yeah, it's not happening.
That's definitely not going to happen. I think they're basically just pushing all that. They're just changing the 0 at the end of all those dates to a 1, and
I called a bar and for booking, and they was like, "Look, we don't plan on doing anything until 2021."
Yeah, wow. I'm pretty much just on vacation until at least June of 2021, which honestly,
not a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, I got a little 1-year-old and a beautiful wife. I'm like, okay. I mean, I've been spending 200 days on the road the last 5 years of my life. I'm like learning what it's like to actually be home in my community again, and it's so
I can imagine, man.
Fulfilling. I think I'm gonna have a different approach to this whole thing on the other side of this in general. I'm just and also looking back at the books, from a financial standpoint with my business manager and stuff, it's there's a lot of what we were doing to staying busy and playing every market in the United States, most markets in Europe, and a lot of markets in Canada. It's just some of it's overkill, you know. There's some of it, the overhead is not worth the being out there. So I'm rethinking my career, you know, not being in my career, but just how much of my time I really need to sacrifice for it, because a lot of your time is spent on a highway, you know.
I'm sure, yeah. You're gonna have flashbacks when you see the van again and have to go back in.
Don't make me go back. Don't make me go back.
Driver, dude. That's my
is it?
But right now I got a bunch of kayak equipment in the back of it. It's my locomobile right now. It's
there you go.
to the beach, you know.
Yeah,
the van has been transformed. That thing's been across the continent 7 times.
Wow! And it's a Ford, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. And we had a Dodge to begin with. And
a Dodge.
Oh yeah, and the Dodge was okay, but the Dodges aren't meant to pull trailers.
No,
the Ford.
I'm a Ford guy.
The 350 series, it's like having a crew cab from a construction crew or something. That thing will just you can pull all kinds of equipment. It'll get you there. I'm also particular because my dad was in construction, and he always had a Ford truck, and my granddad was like a retired bus driver, and he like drove cars to different dealerships for Ford all across the country. And so like I got a place in my heart for Ford. I'm like looking for that commercial spot one day.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that brings me to, so what have you been doing with your free time? Last night you played a show, right? Like from home.
Hold on, yeah, Zach, don't snitch him out now. If he's playing shows, you ain't supposed to. You don't want McMaster to come shut him down now.
Oh yeah, don't shut me down. Don't shut me down, go.
We won't send Rooster Cogburn to your house.
No, I actually, so that was actually pre-recorded. I did headline technically a festival, Light in the Dark Fest. It's like some friends of mine actually from Columbia. It was to benefit like food chain workers.
Right.
But I actually sat at home. My wife went off to like have like a game night with some of her ladies downtown. So I was like, it was in a house. It was social distance. It was fine. It was safe.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They're in our bubble. But so I was like at home with Harriet sleeping, and I was like watching the festival myself, and it was really fun to watch. Like I was a little self-conscious about my own set, but yeah. So like I recorded that a couple weeks ago, and I honestly I've been recording my new album a lot.
That was my next question. Have you taken this time to sit back and go, you know what, I got this? Well, like you said, you're spending more time with your family. Is that going to be something that's going to be showing on the new record even more? Like
the new
Welcome
album
to Dadland. Yeah,
totally. I mean, like the new album, I didn't kind of mean for this to happen, but like my daughter was conceived, and I'm not trying to get into details, but like she was conceived like the weekend, like 2 days after I finished all the tracking for my last album.
Oh wow!
And so I found out about her being on the way like a few weeks later, and most of the songs from the new album were written since then and up to like a week after my dad passed. My dad passed in May, and I've become a dad. I've lost my own dad. I lost a close friend last year. I've had a lot of stuff going on. So my new album is kind of like I'm not at liberty to like,
we get
the
that
album title.
Zach wants the details now. He's like,
you've hit two major points that I am right there with you. I am right there with you.
My label, my manager's been like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
No, we got an explicit tag. You were fine.
Yeah, I had to put the explicit on there anyway. Zach
right.
does a lot of cussing. Zach is,
there we go. But so, I mean, I've got a lot of songs that are basically like a big reflection. I mean, I think becoming a dad made me become very reflective on my own kind of past, my own experiences that are meaningful to me. Like, not that I'm trying to like tell my daughter, like, this is what life's all about. Just kind of be like, compartmentalize experiences of mine, big and small, but kind of just be like, life is all these things. And I don't expect her to understand this album I'm making
for sure
anytime soon, but like, it's definitely influenced by becoming a dad, losing a dad, and everything in between all that, which is about an 18-month like arc. And sure. I kind of had started recording the new album before COVID started. I started kind of like in January, I started a little bit, but then I was on tour most of February and March, like right before all this kind of really kicked into gear. And so I was kind of planning to be recording right now, and it worked out because I just have been recording. And honestly, I've been lucky. I have a great business manager. And so I was been able to get like PPP and the SBA loans and stuff to kind of like help continue doing that stuff. And yeah, I mean, I know that I'm fortunate. Like it's just because I have a great business manager who does take his cut. You know, I'm not going to say it, but
you mean he's not doing it for free? Oh, what a guy!
But also, to his benefit, I will say he has before. He is a believer. He's a team. He's a team member, a SUSTO team member.
Started from the bottom.
Exactly, and he's been there since below the bottom. But yeah, he like having that team in place is going to help us secure that financial stability has been crucial, and also like being able to do like digital shows has been helpful to like kind of fund the recording process. So I've been like just recording a lot, and and I'm about finished. I'm almost done. So
that's awesome.
I'm planning on finishing this week actually, and then I'm actually going to be in school like this fall and spring because I can't tour until summer, and I kind of like in a few years after the next album cycle want to like maybe get a graduate degree in like environmental sciences. So I'm like re-upping my science credits at College Charleston this semester. I'm like trying to be a productive dad. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. Like I can't tour. So I'm passionate about the environment, and I'm passionate about continual learning. And apparently I'm passionate about racking up student loan debt. So
dude, it's no joke.
Well, speaking of tours, me and Zach and Barrett was talking about this a couple of weeks back. How would you do a meet and greet? Would you still do a meet and greet? Like if
you got the all clear to tour.
Yeah.
Well, when the touring comes back, like I definitely would do meet and greets, and that's something we had just kind of started to do. Like like in the first part of the SUSTO years, it was like either we were opening for somebody or we were playing some club that's like 75 capacity, and like we did a meet and greet, there might be like 2 people and there's not anywhere to even do it. It's like we're just kind of reaching a place where it's like, okay, well, we're like building in meet and greets to our like ticket sales and stuff. And yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm a people person. Like I like this sort of thing is so great for me because I'm just like I love to talk and be around and like ham it up with folks, and like so yeah, I mean, absolutely, I want to do meet and greets because it's really beneficial to me too. Like, and I'm saying that kind of from a selfish standpoint to like get to hear people's stories about how they're connecting to the music because I mean, otherwise you're just kind of doing it blind and you're doing it knowing that like some numbers are lining up which allow you to keep doing it, but it's like hearing the stories of why it matters and why people are like they're supporting you and kind of helping you move forward is so crucial to me. It's been like I don't know, it's been a big part of what drives me.
And that's man, if it wasn't for your willingness to do that, I when you and I met, it was like I said 2016 or 17 when you were at New Brooklyn, you had just shot off to the end of the bar to grab a beer and I introduced myself. And dude, I was like, that's on me. I want one. Do you have a second? And you and I talked for maybe 15, 20 minutes.
Thank you for that too. I always appreciate it for your drink.
Oh, absolutely. And I had mentioned to you because I heard my favorite song you've ever done with SUSTO is Cosmic Cowboy. I'm like out of Puddin' Swamp and Tattooed Fists, which we'll get back to Puddin' Swamp because we want to talk about that.
Yes, of course.
Spelling's debatable depending which county you're in. The road goes in 2 counties, but yeah, we'll go to that.
Yeah.
Puddin' or pudding? Which is it?
Yeah. The Sumter County and Clarendon County.
Yes, in Sumter County it's pudding, and Clarendon County it's pudding.
Right,
it's Clarendon County. It's Swamp.
Exactly.
I wrote it down. It definitely ends in an end. It's pudding, right?
Yeah.
I assume it's pudding.
The name of the swamp is Puddin' Swamp, but there's a road, Puddin' Swamp Road.
Puddin' Swamp
Road. The road goes through 2 different counties, and the sign changes though. Like if you're in Sumter County, it's Pudding Swamp, and if you're in Clarendon County, it's Puddin' Swamp.
That's
my
crazy.
Manager, because they were trying to whenever we put our last album out, it was the first time ever being on like a label, so the label was trying to make sure they had all their like facts right. And they were like trying. My manager hit me, was like, "Are you sure it's Pudding Swamp?" Because we're googling it and it says Pudding Swamp, and I'm like, "Just move your Google Maps over like 1 county." And he's like, "Oh, I see." Like
Siri's gonna say it funny when you map it out, but it's gonna be fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Pudding.
That's funny.
Pudding.
Yeah.
You and I had been talking, and at that time, like I said, Cosmic Cowboy that's my jam. And I had recently had like, that reality shift of dropping the religion you were growing up in, that kind of not being unspiritual or believing in something bigger than yourself, right? But just dropping the structure and saying, I'm thinking for myself. And I was talking to you about that, and you said the thing that has always stuck to me. You said, it's that same feeling they kept talking about, but you felt it when you left it. And I was like, that's exactly it. Like I felt that freedom and that I'm dropping off this and let me go live my life before I decide that's what I want to do, instead of the this is it, this from day one, this is that kind of thing. And having
Totally.
figuring your own path out, and that's not anything against any religious people. My two compadres are religious.
I mean, but my mom actually was a choir director, and like literally, I was at church every Wednesday, every Sunday, and whenever I got around 18, 19, I slowly start falling back, and then like right now, I rarely ever go right now, to be honest, but that's because I feel like I really don't need the church part of it. You get what I'm saying? I feel like the church part was more of it got too about money. I'm in church and I'm hearing people argue about money. I'm not gonna want to come back to church. I shouldn't hear that at church. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that kind of like opened my eyes up, knowing that I can have a relationship outside of church with God.
Yeah, I totally understand that. I also do, like, one of the things I actually probably miss the most, and this may be because I kind of like cut myself off from the actual faith, more of like the faith side of it, like is the community. Like I do kind of, just because I was in church. I mean, I went to Christian school. I was in church every Wednesday, every Sunday, was leader of the youth group band. You know, it's like when I played my first shows, you know, were like not shows, they were leading worship. And but I mean, it's been a long arc for me, because I was very reluctant to leave any of it behind, because it was very important to me.
It's a part of you, man.
It was hard and it's still hard for me to communicate with some of my family members just outside of terms within the faith, you know, because like, you know, somebody's going through something, it's like, I'm praying for you. And it's hard for me to say that, because I'm not a prayer, you know.
I feel you.
But I also, I think through psychedelics and also through just friendship and just experience, I've like really just started to redefine my own spirituality. Like I wouldn't call myself an atheist, even though in that song I do. Sure. I think I would call myself more of like an agnostic, definitely non-religious. Cause like you said, like a lot of the money and stuff, like the structure of it kind of gets in the way of things, but definitely there was some beautiful things about it. Like I went to several different churches growing up, because like we lived in Clarendon County and went to a Southern Methodist church that like my dad had grown up in, and my mom had grown up in a Pentecostal church not far away. But then we moved to Florence whenever I was like 10 and went to Pentecostal church there. But then we ended up at this like non-denominational church that was very chill, very music oriented. We had this like eccentric Canadian pastor that wore a beret. And like it was really chill. It was really cool. And actually, I mean, that's where I learned to play music. And also this guy, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Austin Crane, who has a band called Valley Maker.
No, definitely check that out.
We were both in the same church. He's signed Tours of the World too. Like, and we both learned to play music together in the youth group at this church. Like, we both kind of had our own paths since then, but
I think that's what I got from church too. It was music for me too.
Yeah, and
music was definitely
You know, I'm so grateful for that gift too, because like, and tying the music to spirituality kind of like added this gravity to it that I think never.
Oh, what a great way to put it! Yeah, absolutely,
like, definitely.
You know,
because I wasn't getting emotional. I wasn't getting emotional whenever the pastor was preaching. It was the music that got it for me. You get what I'm saying? That's what hit it for me. So.
My producer and I bond over that a lot. His name's Wolfgang, but he grew up playing in church up in or around and outside of Charlotte, and like that's kind of like, you know, he recognized playing like how it was affecting people, and how it affected him. He's a drummer, so he told me it was like in secret when we first met, before we both kind of like started to divulge a little bit from our traditional learned beliefs. Like he was like, man, like when I hit the drums a certain way, like everybody will stand up, put their hands in the air. Yeah. Like, and it's like, but you know, that's not, and that speaks also to like, you know, a little bit of like the predictability of like religious experiences, which I'm not trying to say that in a way that demeans them, but like, but also, but more or less like in the way that they use the power of music in a positive way. It's like, and that it's really broken down into that power of music. Music really moves us. I mean, I have a daughter who we play music for, and she just like stops it listens to it and starts shaking around. Like, and I was like, wow, like that's how I feel, you know? Like,
yeah,
exactly. But, Baby Shark. That's it.
Yeah, Baby Shark. They love it. They love it.
Get some Peppa Pig and some Baby Shark, and we're all going.
I know.
Well, and see, I'm actually the opposite from the three of you, because I didn't actually even become like I grew up. My family, we didn't really attend church, except that, you know, my father and my mother owned a print shop, and chances are the church that we attended was because that church happened to buy their bulletins from us.
Smart move from your parents,
right? You know, you dress up and you show up, and then you're carrying the box of. Anyway, so but around the age of 23, I guess I was here in South Carolina. I was engaged to a girl, and she was Catholic, and I felt, and I throughout my teenage years, I had always felt drawn to Catholicism. I always felt like, you know, the things that I heard about it was, you know, it was the literal teachings of Jesus and things like that. And but I guess the one thing I always tended to get out of it was that that ultimately everything always came down to Jesus just wanted people to love each other. And you know, every act was an act of love. It was that, and that's you know, I disagree with more things with the Catholic, agree with it, but I still actively participate because I feel like, you know, Jesus asked us to, so that's what I do.
Yeah.
But when it comes to everyone's opinions on denominations and religion and things like that, I'm completely open to every single bit of it, because it's what they're comfortable with. And if that's how they get to the point where they can at least acknowledge that they should be loving everyone, then, you know, it's all kosher. So
you're right.
I think the Catholic Church is, like, honestly, as a pretty much I guess, like, it's weird to say, but, like, I guess a non-believer is the way I would identify.
Sure.
Like, the Catholic Church is kind of where I feel the most comfortable, because it's like it just feels very reverent and not like people are just pulling. I don't know. It's hard to explain unless you've just been in a bunch of different denominations and seen the differences between styles of people. But
which I have.
Also, I think it has to do with, like, my wife's family is from Vermont, and they're like, her grandmother was devout Catholic, and very just, like, people first, like, you know, like she very much latched onto the message of love and help.
Yeah.
Helping people that, like, the Catholic Church preaches, and, like, that, I guess that resonates with me personally, because I definitely have seen, like, you know, like, I don't know, it's just like it's a pious, not overblown sort of, like, vibe in the Catholic
until you visit the Vatican, and then it's
completely
overblown.
Then it's
I've
like
never done that.
selfies, Vatican City.
Look at this naked statue. This is great. People painted cool things.
Yeah, they sort of set the tone with all the naked sculptures of men in the Vatican there. It's
oh my god.
It's not,
I do love the sense of kind of quietness, though, that you get, like, when you go, and not just like Catholic, but also, like, Episcopal kind of services.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we always called
no,
sorry, go ahead, Justin. Didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's all I was gonna say.
Oh, we always called the Methodist Catholic Light. They just let some of the other things slide.
Catholic Light. Oh my
god. Maybe that's why I like it, because, man, I grew up Methodist. So it was you know, it's like that was my dad's and my grandma's, you know, like, strict, like, sit there, be quiet, listen, sing. There was no, like,
Black River Gospel.
There was no, like, kind of like the garb that people wear in Episcopalian and Catholicism, but still the service is very rigid like that. But
did you all have the kneel down little things that pop down in the pews?
Yeah.
So see, Catholic Light. It's just you're ditching the clothes, you're ditching the other stuff.
I know.
Come on, man.
It's basically like dress code instead of uniform.
Right.
And then, but
wait, so you know all about that, and I just want to shift gears a little bit, not to bum people out, because some people are probably going to be like, they're talking about religion, and that's one of the two things you don't talk about. But whatever.
we're having a really good conversation.
It is a really good.
We are. It's excellent.
I just want to give props to us, because we're doing great with it.
Oh yeah. Thank
Well,
you.
Justin, we're looking for a fourth co-host, and if you're,
Oh man, seems like you got some free time.
you do. You
It seems
got
like you got
free
some free
time.
time.
Yeah, well, my wife would be like, "You do not have any free time."
That is our
No.
time.
No, not like
No,
that.
not
It's just
appropriate.
like
I think
like
every episode we do.
I busy myself too much. I want to be on a podcast. I love podcasts. That's why I was so excited when you guys invited me on. I'm like, but I'm a better guest than I would be like a co-host because I'm not very. I mean,
Oh no.
I get on my wave. Maybe I'm being a very good student right now, but
Oh, you're excellent. No, I mean, we want everyone to come on, and then when, of course, I invited you, I was like, I had a conversation with that man that was kind of out of space and time, and I loved it, and it was like 3 or 4 years ago now, but again,
there's
appreciate
nothing
you
like
coming.
Conversations at New Brooklyn Tavern. God, I miss that place. I miss like
The ceilings like here, and everyone.
yeah.
here.
I mean, I grew up playing shows there though, man. That was like, I mean, I grew up in Florence, and that was the closest place you could
New
go
Brooklyn's
to see
so
like
good.
a real show, you know, and it's
Yeah.
all ages. And
Trent and
It's
I
a
played a
special
show
place.
there, and then I played a show there one other time. So I played there. The lights are awful. Like when I say awful, I mean the ceiling's so low you're baking like a turkey.
Oh yeah,
Um,
definitely.
I went there and saw Anberlin.
yeah, Amberlin, I saw them there too, actually.
So Terrible Things played there, which had Josh Eppard from Coheed that I talked to now. Well, I met him there, and Fred Mascherino from Taking Back Sunday, and Andy Jackson from Hot Rod Circuit. They were all in Terrible Things. We went there, and I was like, "Hey guys, what's up?" And I started talking to Josh, and they were all puking because they were baking under the lights just out back. Amberlin, they come off first, and we're standing out. You know how they have they put up big fences now, but you go back there, and all the Amberlin guys are like, "Oh my god!"
Recently,
Yeah, like we're dying. It's so hot up there.
for like, if you don't have a specific love for that place because you grew up in South Carolina, like I imagine touring bands, and this is no disrespect to New Brooklyn because New Brooklyn has like got my vote of confidence forever. I love New Brooklyn,
For sure.
but like I can imagine like if that place was in like Iowa or something, or let's not pick on Iowa, let's say like Alaska, which I've never been to before, but like that was somewhere else. You're on tour and you get to a place.
I'm going to throw out a state.
Bear?
Let's say North Dakota or South Dakota because
North
we
Dakota.
don't need two Dakotas. Just if
it's on the Dakota, if it's on the Dakota line, right? If you're like
right there.
If you're on tour and you're going to a place and it's like there's no green room and you're on tour, you desperately need privacy because you're not getting any of it. And like you're not getting any of it from your bandmates. You at least need it just between you and your bandmates, you know?
Yeah. Oh, and you definitely dressed up like COVID was in the bathrooms if you had to go to the bathroom there.
Yeah. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I've like done the numbers at New Brooklyn several times. And, like I
he called it the numbers.
Yeah, I'm a vet. I'm a New Brooklyn.
You're a
is
true
like,
vet, absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. Like New Brooklyn, I love New Brooklyn.
New Brooklyn is Sharkies, man. If you've ever partied in those two in Columbia, you won't ever get COVID.
I don't know if I've ever been to Sharkies.
What? Oh man.
I've only done like New Brooklyn is honestly kind of like the beginning and the end of my like Columbia experience, man. I've like played headliners back when that existed. I played the New Music Farm / whatever it's called now.
Ten Roof,
Music Farm, yeah.
It's Music Farm. They split them.
I've been out downtown a couple of times just as like a novelty, but I've never lived in Columbia, so I've never like done as many times. I mean, I know Columbia. I know the way to and from New Brooklyn, from Florence and from Charleston and from Greenville. So like, I'm like, New Brooklyn is the center of the state for me. You know, it's like, that's my state capital.
Yeah.
As long as you can get to the state capital.
Here it is. Here's the state capital of South Carolina. It is New Brooklyn Tavern.
New Brooklyn Tavern.
New Brooklyn Tavern.
No, absolutely. Like, and I totally agree. And like the whole scene SC, all that, that's like New Brooklyn Tavern. That's
that makes sense.
No, so when you come down to Columbia again, give me a call. We'll go down to 5 Points. We'll go down to the Vista. We'll show you Sharkies. We'll show you all
I need
all
a proper
the goodness.
intro.
Absolutely.
It's been too long.
You need to send us some shirts so we can get like Zach. Zach, man, where'd you get that shirt, man?
I can send y'all shirts. I get my guy on it immediately.
Oh well,
at the warehouse.
Look at that. Oh man.
Which is my storage unit. But
every time I go to a show, I pick up a vinyl. I kid you not. I pick up Did Marshall, your drummer? Did Marshall?
Yeah, he's also the guy. He's the guy I was referring to. He also runs all our merchandise.
So did he draw that? If you can see it.
Oh yeah, the poster.
Yeah.
So the album cover you just held up, he did not draw, but he did curate that album design. But every poster, every T-shirt that we have done basically since like after the very first album and the very first like T-shirts no one's probably ever seen. Like he's basically everything that we do, he designs. He went to UGA for like graphic design, and he's an incredibly talented artist in multiple ways. I mean, like he's a drummer, but he's also like a visual artist. He does all of our posters, our banners, and stuff like that. Like, what's
and
runs
funny is
the web store. So,
excellent. No, I'm gonna go buy one of your bandanas. This is my thing for our podcast. I rock the bandanas, and y'all have one, and I just found it, and I was like, holy shit, I don't have this. Like, so yeah,
dude, we'll send you one pro bono. We'll send you guys all a gift pack. Just like we'll tell you afterwards.
Okay.
We'll get some sizes, and we'll send everybody a little something.
Absolutely. So we'll try and do the same. Trent's working on getting us some All About Nothing merch. So
that's right. So
let me know when you do. I'll rock it. Especially if you get a mask. All About Nothing mask. I'll wear the shit out of it because I've only got like 3 right now, and I'm like having to wash them all the time.
That's a good idea.
I actually went on Vistaprint. I don't have my dinger, but I went on Vistaprint just to see what a mask would potentially look like. I sent it to Zach. It was ridiculous looking, like it crumpled all up. It was like all about shit, and that's what you could see. I don't even know how the letters all came together. That's what you were talking about touring, and we're getting close to your hour mark, and not that you gave us a time frame, but we know that you probably have stuff going on. Yeah, but I did want to ask, SUSTO is a band, and all of your band members are going through this right now as well. What are they up to? Are they looking into the same sort of things that you're doing, schooling and other things? But like, what are they doing?
Well, I guess like I'll pre kind of like explain that with also like SUSTO is a band, but it's also kind of like a solo project at the same time. Like I kind of identify musically as SUSTO, and the band is a bit revolving. I have definitely some key players that have been there from the beginning or close to the beginning that come in. And so it's like, but yeah, there are people who are constant or generally employed by SUSTO full time that aren't right now. But like Marshall is, like I mentioned, is also a graphic artist. Marshall he's also a portrait artist. So he has been spending, everyone is on, like, thankfully we pay payroll taxes. So like everybody's getting dope unemployment right now.
Wow.
Sure. Yeah.
Besides me, but I'm fine. Like, I've been doing online shows. I'm okay. Like, honestly, thankfully, our band has been okay. Like, because we are, and I feel bad because like I understand what it was like to be at a level that isn't, and we're not like a big band. We're like just to the point where we pay payroll taxes, right?
Oh, okay.
Like, can you guys see me?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
But so everyone's kind of just floating. Like Marshall is kind of diving back into portrait painting and doing design for people. Dries, our guitar player, is also incredible videographer, and he's been doing a lot of video work and helping people do live stream shows. Yeah, he kind of specializes in that kind of stuff. And then our bass player Jordan has been coding, I think, and
he's in Barrett's line of work.
Yeah, so everyone's got kind of like a side thing they do that kind of in normal times they're able to also do while we tour anyway.
Yeah, right.
And except for me, I'm the only one that doesn't have something else. Like I was an anthropology major, so I'm like,
my mom would absolutely get a kick out of that. At the age of like when I moved out, one of the things that she said she wanted to do when she retired she wanted to go back to school and become an anthropologist at like the age of 65. That was what she decided she thought she wanted to do. That's probably
the time to do it, honestly. Because you don't have because your kids are like gone or whatever. It's not the career to like support kids with, but
yeah.
But I also like I've always had an interest in the environment. So like what I'm kind of trying to focus. I mean, my work. I'm not like leaving the music business. Like it's how I make my living. But I I also have recognized through all this that like I maybe don't necessarily have to give so much of my time to it. And by time, I mean like almost like not time. Like I'm showing up in like a random city in a random state that, you know, people are there, but like it's a lot of time. Like I want to like kind of more target my touring to do about 30 to 40 dates per album cycle.
Spacious touring, like different dates out.
Like
okay.
play LA and San Francisco and Seattle and Denver and Houston and Chicago and Nashville and like, you know, not everywhere in between. You know, like and make those shows really count. Do it with like, you know, 7-piece band if I want, and not have to worry about the overhead of carrying a 7-piece band on a 80-day tour, you know, like so
absolutely. You went and toured who was it? And forgive me, it wasn't Band of Horses, but you went over to Europe and played by yourself, correct? For a point?
We've been to Europe with the full band 3 times, and I've been over there solo like 3 or 4 times too. Europe's a great market for us, but it's like the overhead. I mean, you have to approach this like anything. I mean, I'm a small business owner when it comes down to the bottom line. It's like I'm employing people, I'm paying payroll taxes. I'm like trying to make sure that the overhead doesn't outweigh what we're bringing in. And but at the same time, I'm trying to like balance that with like not getting too overwhelmed by that to where I'm not able to really focus on why we're even doing this in the first place, which is like communication person to person through art. Like, you know, and I'm also like, you know, as becoming a little bit older and, you know, having a family, I'm realizing that I don't know, like I still have a gift that I want to share, and that I recognize is like something that I'm grateful for and I really enjoy. But I also like don't want my whole life to be wrapped up in like being, you know, just subject
busy
to the whims of the music industry. Like the music industry is ruthless. Nobody cares about art. Like nobody cares about the good stuff. They care about the numbers, which is good because it is business and you have to make those things continue. But like, that's why I'm interested in like becoming an environmentalist, because I want to do something that feels meaningful, and also I can work close to home and be in nature and like helping protect waterways and the places where my daughter and if I have other kids are going to be playing and living. Like
exactly.
It matters. It matters.
Art
it matters way
but
past
other things are too, you know?
Sure.
And I just don't want to have a bunch of wasted time in a van. Like I love smoking weed in the van and spacing out and thinking about a million things, watching like a bunch of different cities in the Midwest go by.
Sure.
But like I've done that a lot.
I'm about to say you've been there, done that. What's next?
Yeah. Okay. So again, you got to give us one crazy tour story. You got to before you leave. I got to hear one.
God, man, to be completely honest with you, then this is like not trying. I got a lot of them.
I know you do. I believe it.
Well, I'll tell you what. We'll let you. We'll let you save face on this one for a minute, and for the next time, because there has to be a next time, Justin. Okay. We're running out of time. What we do need is for everyone to say hi to my mother right now.
Yeah. Hey, Kelly.
Hey, Kelly. Everybody say hey,
hi,
Kelly. So everybody, thanks, Mom. We all said
can
hey.
Can I give like, I tell you what, for Trent and for Callie, can I give like a little PG?
Absolutely.
Crazy. No, I don't want the crazy.
For Kelly, it's Kelly. Kelly.
I just want
Kelly.
to say,
okay, sorry.
Kelly.
Kelly is one time we were on tour in Norway. And I got to go to the Arctic Circle. I got to play a show inside the Arctic Circle. It's like this town called Tromsø, Norway. Okay. It's got one of those like O's with like a line through it, like super European looking. Wow. And you know, it was really rad. It was like, wow, like it was super. They're like,
dude, is there a video?
Just in the part of the year where they actually have a day and the night, because most of their days are like either all day or all night.
Wow,
they see like but that was really cool. I was like, I'm a dude from South Carolina in a band, and I'm like, you know, with knuckle tattoos, and like, I'm like playing a show on the same stage where Townes Van Zandt played his last Norwegian show.
That's cool.
In the Arctic Circle. I was like, that's pretty fucking cool.
That's crazy.
Like, and that's
cool.
And honestly, like as a little kid, like my parents were homebodies. Like we traveled a little bit, but like, like to the mountains, you know, like. Yeah, So like one of the reasons I even got into music was because the allure of touring was something that really was something that drew me in. And those types of things I'm so grateful for. I'm so grateful to have been able to go. I've been to all 48 lower states. You know, I've been to a lot of different countries and stuff too. And like, I'm just a glorified hillbilly, you know, like, or swamp billy, I guess.
Swamp Billy.
Oh yeah, we're all, I'm definitely a hillbilly.
Home of the pudding.
I'm grateful for it, and I'm also like, it also has made me really appreciate where we live, because
you're right.
South Carolina. I mean, we have our troubles, you know, politically in all these different ways, but just naturally, it's such a beautiful place. Like, I know it gets pretty hot, but like,
anybody who leaves comes back, man. They're like, this is
it's beautiful. It's beautiful here. And like, and I love the people.
Yeah.
Even if I don't agree with it. Like, I something about it. Maybe it's just in my blood or something, but I love it here. And I never want to live anywhere else unless I'm forced out. But you know,
this the only
we
state.
Won't do that to you.
This the only state where people really hate you, but they'll still wave whenever they drive by you.
Right. Yeah. I hate your guts, but hey.
I hate your guts, but hey, I don't want to be rude.
Yeah. No, you're so right, Trent.
So the reason I wanted everybody to say hey to my mama is she asked the question that you have heard more times in your life outside of what the hell are you doing, which is, where did you get the name SUSTO?
So SUSTO is like well, I was an anthropology major. Like, when I ended Sequoia Prep School, we had been like booking our own tours on MySpace and just like spinning our wheels for like so long, trying to make it like out of high school. Like, I dropped out of the Citadel and all that stuff trying to do that. And then I had done that for like 3 years. And I was like, I really need to probably like get my life back on track and go back to school. And so I had moved back to Charleston and become an anthropology major, and I learned about SUSTO in an anthropology class. I'm sorry, I'm burping. The beers are catching up with me.
It's okay.
It happens.
I'm probably gonna have one big one soon, but
it's been happening to me. We'll gauge it. Yeah, there we go. Yeah,
but,
2.5.
So I was learning about SUSTO, and SUSTO is like a folk illness. It was described as a folk illness found in Latin America. It's like it's kind of way through the. I mean, you know how we all culturally have our own lenses of describing things. Like, it's basically what we might describe as PTSD. In the U.S., like, is what SUSTO is. It's like, but it's a term. It's kind of a spiritual, like Latin American Catholicism type term, because Latin American Catholicism is kind of like a lot of mixture between like prior indigenous beliefs mixed in with Catholicism, and but it's essentially like a belief that like when something traumatic happens to you, that your spirit jumps out of your body, and you're not dead. And your spirit isn't lost. It's just kind of hovering around you.
Like an outer body experience.
But it's like a prolonged outer body experience. It's like something where like you're like kind of not, you can't fully be yourself for a while because your like soul isn't connected to your body.
Like when Doctor Strange punches you in the chest and
I don't know. See, I don't know Doctor Strange, so I admit.
So I just went nerd on you, so that's
what he does.
I'm a nerd my own ways, so I'm like I respect, you know. But
if it comes to Marvel or DC, you don't want to get into it with this guy.
All day. Legitimately, I have like a 100 message between the two of these guys from like earlier this week talking about. What was it? Iron Man would beat up?
Let me ask him. Who would you take? Black Panther?
It was Wolverine. It was Wolverine and Black Panther.
Yeah, well, adamantium and vibranium.
Y'all the experts I'm going to refer to if I ever have a question.
Oh my god, that's the guy right there.
You got my number. You shoot me a text. But no, it's basically like a fright. It's a disembodiment.
Yeah, it boils down to fright, and it's like a word that like describing fright in a spiritual way, that like your soul is separated from your body, like. The literal like Latin and Spanish kind of like text means like SUSTO means soul separated from your body.
That's wild.
But like it means kind of like prolonged fright.
Yeah. And even in
people also say it colloquially, like in the Caribbean and stuff, they'll say like "ay que susto," like if you scare someone, like like it's like a fright, you know, like it's which is funny. Like whenever I play in Mexico, it's like. You're like, your name's SUSTO? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, you seem so nice. like
I was about to say. So, can you speak fluent Spanish, or was?
No, I would not call. I mean, I can get by a little bit. Like it comes back to me. But I've never really studied Spanish. I've lived in Cuba for a little while, but I never like collegiately studied Spanish. I was always like studying Latin, which helps. But
well, está bien is muy bien.
Yeah, I mean, but even that song sounds like it was written by a kindergartner, probably. Like,
actually, we have Barrett and I work together. We have a Spanish coworker, and I showed her the song. She thought it was amazing.
She did. Oh, that's so nice.
She absolutely did. She thought it was amazing.
I did too. Actually, when Zach introduced me, and said that he was trying to get you on the show, that he said just look up the band, and so I pulled up your recent album, the Ever Since I Lost My Mind, and I started listening to it. And when I got to Está Bien, I went back and listened to Está Bien again, and then I listened to it again. And don't get me wrong, I can't speak Spanish. I understand Spanish well enough that I can at least Spanglish my way through it. My next door neighbors, my next door neighbors are Dominican, and so even like. There's a funny thing.
That's like broken retired. Spanish, though. Yeah. Dominican Spanish is broken.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing is, I mean, I lived in Cuba, so Dominican and Cuban Spanish are both like Caribbean Spanish, where it's like you go to Mexico and start speaking Caribbean Spanish, then like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
we keep making this go longer, but so you lived in Cuba for a little while.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a study abroad thing I did through College Charleston, like for political science. Like
Did you smoke a Cuban?
What's that?
Did you smoke a Cuban before?
I did. Even though I'm not a big cigar person, I'm more of a weed guy.
I was gonna say, don't tell us what her name was. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I one of the places that I want to go, because eventually the United States is going to work much better with Cuba. But before
I'm actually
Cuba
working on a project right now
Americanized-
to kind of help facilitate that. But
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome. That's fantastic. Yeah, but before Cuba becomes too Americanized, I want to visit there just to experience what Cuba is like, because you see the pictures. It's almost like it's straight out of like the late 50s. And
it is.
I don't want to see the American version of Cuba. I want to see the Cuban version of Cuba.
I want to maintain Cuban sovereignty and let them kind of like come into the modern age without having to be completely capitalized.
Sure.
I think Cuba could benefit from a certain amount of small scale capitalism, and they already have implemented that.
Sure.
But like, huge hotels and cruise ships and stuff like that. Like, I don't want to see that. Like, that's not a real Cuban experience.
Don't make it a destination.
And it honestly doesn't help them either. Like.
No.
But I do want like my Cuban friends that are my age that have kids or like working a professional job, like to be able to have access to Wi-Fi. They don't have that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
that's crazy.
I want to see free travel between the United States and Cuba without restriction.
Totally, absolutely. I mean, I was there in 2014. It was pre-Obama lifting the embargo, so it was like kind of right before things got a little better. And since then, they've gotten worse. And I'm going back in 2022 to be a part of a conference, and I'm kind of working on this project with a friend of mine who's at the Institute of Philosophy in Havana to kind of like promote person-to-person diplomacy, because like one of the things that I learned from being a study abroad student in Cuba is like I didn't know anything about Cuba. Anything I knew was some sort of like stereotype that was in my head.
Yeah.
And there's like a lot that can be learned just by people spending time with each other, and it can help Americans understand Cuba, and also help Cubans understand Americans too. Like we're not all the United States government. But you guys, I want to give a warning too. I just got a 10% thing on my phone, so I don't want to like. I don't want to lose.
We're gonna let you go with this one last thing, and it's a quick this or that, and we're gonna let you go. And thank you for your time again.
Thank you guys. It's been so fun to meet you guys and to hang out and chat.
Absolutely. We're gonna have to do it again at some point.
After the album, when the album drops, that's whenever he can come back on.
I want to, because I definitely want to promote and talk about the album.
And we want to play a song. We want to play one song.
Yeah,
that would be amazing.
Yes. I definitely want to have you on at some point between now and the exchange in Cuba, because I want to hear more about that. I'm very interested.
We could have a whole conversation about that. And that's a whole
that would be awesome.
thing that I'm like kind of actively participating in. So yeah.
All right, so here we go.
Backs up.
We got a couple this or that's. Mustard or vinegar based barbecue?
Man, I'm from the PD. I'm a vinegar based all day.
I saw it coming.
Like Rodney Scott's down here in Charleston. Like Rodney Scott, like he started in Hemingway, and like he was like the king of the PD kind of style barbecue that I grew up eating. But when I first moved here, it was all either ketchup from God knows where they even get that from. I don't even know where that's from.
Yeah,
or mustard based, or just like Texas brisket or something.
Yeah.
And then Rodney comes in, sets up the dopest fucking barbecue / restaurant place, in my opinion, in Charleston. Like,
we're gonna go.
I'm at Rodney Scott's in the drive. Well, now it's COVID. I'm in the drive-through line like twice a week, probably. Like, because that is what makes me feel at home. They even make the tea the way they make it in Turbeville.
See what I mean?
Yeah,
Turbeville.
That's like,
completely.
I mean, I know they're Hemingway, but it must be like Hemingway, Turbeville, that whole stretch. It's like
they got the magic.
They make it like it makes me feel, even though Charleston is my home, my where I grew up is an hour and a half from here, and the barbecue is a little bit different. But Charleston's a mix. There is no Charleston barbecue. It's like all different types of barbecue.
Yeah, just come there.
It's like a competition here. Yeah, it's like you're either getting the mustard or the vinegar or the brisket or whatever. And I'm vinegar all day. I will eat brisket like once a year, but like just because it's a gut buster, dude. Like
you don't pass it up though. You won't pass it up if that's for if that's for dinner. That's what's up.
I'm a meat eater, but I'm also like I'm a sparse meat eater these days too. So I like Rodney Scott's is basically the only red meat I eat. I like eat fish and vegan mostly, but like but I will go have a fucking barbecue sandwich and some mac and cheese and banana pudding.
Holler. Absolutely. All right.
The boy from Puddin' Swamp's gonna get pudding. So.
Exactly.
All right. Dog or cat?
Well, I like both. We currently don't have a pet. I grew up with dogs and cats. I'm sorry you can hear the cicadas and crickets.
It's okay.
It's South Carolina, man. That's
how it's
a nice ambiance.
Yeah, it's the background noise. I have my old cat Kiki tattooed on my arm. So, yeah. But she just moved to Asheville. When we had Harriet, our neighbors adopted her. So because I was on tour a lot, and Megan couldn't look after a cat and a daughter. So But I like cats and dogs, but I'm also like a fan of a clean house. And I know that like dogs and cats impair both of that. So I'm probably like, I don't know. I'm like I don't want to be a hard.
You like them both, but you're not gonna settle. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, it's also a sacrifice, But I appreciate
absolutely cat pans, and I can watch a ball of fur fly across the room and be like, listen. Yeah, I love my cat. I love her to death, and I love my dog.
I love cats and dogs, but I'm also glad to not have to clean up the dander right now in my life.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right,
only
so we go
dirty diapers right now. So
which I'll you might have to. I'll reach out for any guidance I need. I'll be like, what's the SUSTO way of the diaper fold?
Hold the legs. You have to hold both legs in one hand. That's the key. That's the key.
Yeah, the pull up and like. I swear to God, it's gonna be okay. And also, just do whatever your wife does.
Absolutely.
For me, that's what works. My wife is like a role model to me. She's a teacher. She's incredible. She's an incredibly philosophical person. So I'm
awesome.
I don't know, but so that I don't really. I've just been following her lead, so I might not be very good at directions. So
excellent. Well, calls or texts?
Text.
Yes.
Sorry.
Everybody here.
I'm a millennial, dude. I'm a millennial.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, so Coke or Pepsi?
Neither.
Not a soda guy.
I mean, I am a soda guy. I love Coke and I love Pepsi, but I'm like, I recognize that they're so bad for us. So I'm just like, I'm trying. I don't drink sodas anymore, but I do love a rum and Coke. In order to like,
I'm about to say, I was about to ask that.
Some real good rum, Havana Club if possible, and like a Mexican Coke. And a little bit of lime.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Pepsi, but
there we go.
It's
all right. Last one. Flops or sneaks?
Well, right now I'm with Birks. Camouflage Birkenstocks I got for Father's Day, but
I'm gonna put that in the flop category. I put
Yeah.
all sandals
That's
in the
definitely a flop.
category. That's a
Definitely.
flop.
But
That's a flop
I will say
category.
though, mostly though, I got
If it-
some New Balances that are like purple and green that my mother-in-law got me that I just absolutely love, and so I'm more or less a sneaker guy and a Birkenstock guy. So
well, you got to do the dad
Sorry.
thing, right? You need
I got
the
my
all
y'all shirt on right now. I'm like,
you have to get the white New Balances that you mow the lawn in, right?
my
green.
wife's granddad like has like 6 pair of them like in his garage in Vermont. They're just like
ready to
it's
go.
like, oh, those are my spares. Like, it's like
They're so comfortable, and
It's
now
like,
they're
John,
green.
you love them. You have a relationship with those. I get it.
All right, well, Justin, thank you for
you.
joining us, man.
Thank
It
you.
has been a
Zach,
blast.
Barrett, Trent, thank you guys so much for everything. I appreciate the time talking, and it's nice to meet Trent and Barrett. Like, also, I hadn't really met you guys before this, so it's nice.
We'll
to
meet in
you guys.
person.
Thanks for having me on your podcast.
We definitely look forward to when you guys get to tour again, and if come through Columbia, or if you're in Charleston, wherever you're playing, I'm sure that
I'm trying to come out there and do some kayaking too. So maybe I'll hit you guys up and we can have a beer or something.
Barrett just did that.
Right.
So.
I was gonna say, actually, I just got off like Lake Monticello this morning. So
that's what I'm doing. I'm a kayaking junkie right now. I'm like, got some.
It was
Subaru, like,
there you go, man.
It was a rough paddle back across the lake this morning with a crosswind. It was not easy, but
you're better because of it though. That rough paddle makes it all the better when you get off. Makes that afternoon beer even better.
Oh yeah,
that's right. That's right. All right,
y'all. I gotta go say night to my daughter. Okay, I love you guys. Thank you so much for having me. Okay?
Thank you for being on.
Later, Justin. You have a good one.
Cheers, y'all. Have a good night.
Cheers. All right, guys. We're gonna take a break real quick, and we will come back in just a little bit. But we're gonna take a quick break, and we'll come back with some irresponsible headlines coming up, as well as just some headlines and whatnot. So we will be back after this.
Joe Biden was taught that if you see injustice, you've got to stand up and act. It's why at age 26, Joe Biden became a public defender. Why he ran for county council and combated housing discrimination, and why, as U.S. Senator, Joe Biden led on civil rights and voting rights. In 2008, Barack Obama chose him, and for 8 years, Joe Biden served by the president's side, helping to lead us out of the last economic crisis and stop Ebola from becoming a global pandemic. But now, in this crisis, Donald Trump has failed the ultimate test of leadership, especially failing communities of color who have been hit hardest by this virus. To heal this nation, it will take a president who has always stood up to injustice. Someone who sees the deep problems in this country and is willing to take them head on. Joe Biden, let's build this country back better.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
This All About Nothing episode is brought to you in part by Quit Hitting Yourself. Tired of nothing to do while under isolation, thanks in part to the coronavirus pandemic and that racist grandparent that thinks social distancing is unnecessary because of the hoax of COVID-19 disease and keeps coming around with no mask or gloves on? From the makers of Wiffle Ball Bat comes Quit Hitting Yourself. It's an indoor game that promises to bring moments of pure satisfaction and the marks to prove it. The Quit Hitting Yourself bat is made from the same soft, bendable plastic as your old wiffle ball, but is designed for more of a confined space. Simply take the Quit Hitting Yourself bat in one hand while your older sibling uses it to repeatedly swing at your head. It's fun for the whole family, from ages infant to grandparent, that still thinks the masks are unnecessary. It's available in a wide variety of colors like crimson red and yellow skin tone. Quit Hitting Yourself is available at fine retailers like Walmart and Target, Dick's Sporting Goods, and Academy Sports. Mention this ad and get the Quit Hitting Yourself felt helmet. It's one size fits all that provides just enough protection, but not quite enough protection at the same time.
For anyone doubting that opportunity still exists in America, there is the story of Jamie Harrison: faith, family, and service. Those are Jamie's guiding values, and we need them now more than ever. Jamie Harrison for Senate for South Carolina.
Finally back in stock, the Make America Great After facial covering. With COVID-19 and the novel coronavirus back in full force, confirmed infection cases on the rise, and now Trump campaign rallies starting again, you'll want to get your order in before these highly desirable coverings run out. Available in 3 sizes: adult, large adult, and Trump size adult. These new facial coverings are made from a combination of breathable nylon, cotton, and wool. They sport the same MAGA initials, but with a new and improved meaning. Make America Great After. After what? Well, if that's not clear, then how the hell did you wind up here? But since you're still here, you can just assume the last A stands for again. So click your way over to Wear a Damn Mask on Your Face, you dumb jerk.com, and you can stand in a crowd of others staring at you in a mask. When you order yours, you'll get a deck of 50 advertisement cards to hand out to everyone around you to increase awareness about the need to cover your nose and mouth holes. All right. Welcome back. I have to unmute everybody. I can find the right mouse. There you go. Or you guys can unmute yourselves.
There we go.
There it is.
Some SUSTO right here.
It is. It's manual transmission from their latest album, Ever Since I Lost My Mind. Did you see how I did that? I hit the post perfectly.
You did.
That is years and years of training.
You did. That was queued up.
And then decades of not doing it, and then picking it back up right this second.
But you still had it in your mind, so that's all that matters. Right. It's like riding a bike. You never forget.
You listen for what's going on, and then you hear it. There's the post. There it is. Anyway.
What did you guys think, Justin? That was a fun guest, man. He had some great thoughts, great ideas.
Yeah,
that was fun.
He was fantastic.
Very insightful.
I enjoyed that thoroughly.
Old Puddin Swamp.
So, Puddin Swamp, SC.
I wanted to, and this may have to be a remote if we ever get back to normal times, but in Puddin Swamp, South Carolina, they have what they call the Puddin Swamp Festival. And I was telling Zach earlier, the Puddin Swamp Festival is the home of the Swamp Stomp street dance, as well as a bunch of live concerts, fireworks, and food vendors. And of course, it's not going on this year because of, well, obvious reasons. But in case you're looking for Puddin Swamp on the map and you don't know how to use Google, it's near Turbeville and it's between Sumter and Lake City. So it's about halfway between the two. Like you
mentioned, and I had heard that too, that if you're from Sumter, on the Sumter side of things, you call it Pudding Swamp. And then if you're on the Clarendon County side, it's Puddin. Which, puddin's puddin. So everybody calls it Nanner Puddin.
Should we do the All About Nothing podcast at the Puddin Festival?
That's what I'm saying. We do a remote.
Oh yeah, we'll do if everything's good to go and we're either herd immunity, or we have a vaccine. We'll show you what the Puddin Stomp's all about.
The Puddin Stomp. Do the Puddin Stomp.
It's like the stanky leg, except for it's a lot louder.
That'll be awesome. Well, how was your week,
Zach?
Yeah.
Oh, my week was pretty good.
Yeah.
Can't complain. Insurance isn't all that interesting unless you're an insurance nerd, and 50-50. Other than that, I can't complain. Went walking with the wife. Pregnant people need to walk, so we did that. Mm-hmm. Also caught Pokemon on the way, so that's how we spur ourselves to go the walk.
That's a good. Hey, no, that's good. Whatever gets you out.
I gotta catch them all, and you're not catching them all from your couch. So
you're right. They're not. So you mean to tell me you don't have all the Pokemon in your house, Zach? Right there. You should have a Charizard behind you.
I got a holographic Charizard.
Well, I got a new mic. Thanks to these nice gentlemen right here. I want to say, these gentlemen are.
I got a new mic too, but the highlight of the week, and I should have said that when I was asked, was I got to see Trent again. To give him the microphone.
We socially distanced to get a microphone.
We did. We had our masks on and everything, but he tried to race me in the Dodge, but he didn't win. And
I told him the slow lane is in the back. So and then Zach's friends pulled up at the gas station with the lowrider truck. So I wasn't sure.
They had a token black guy too.
Yeah.
Well, it is COVID times. Everybody needs opportunities.
Everybody needs opportunity. Equal opportunity.
Exploiter. Come on, man.
Man. No, that was a terrific interview with Justin.
was.
I'm really glad. My week's been all right. You know, we
Okay.
survived it. I can't look back on it and say that it was worse than the week before because I don't feel like this week was terrible. You know, we got through it. And here's the good news. Legitimately, we're seeing a drop in South Carolina COVID cases. I think as of today, I think the case count was like in the 600s.
500.
So it was it in the 500s?
Yep.
Okay.
And I think worldwide we might be at like 50,000 a day now.
Who would have thought masks work?
Legitimately,
All we had to do was let Trump put his mask on and stuff goes down. Look at that.
we've been begging him for months to do it.
Oh my God.
You put a mask on.
I don't know when the last time anybody's seen Mike Pence.
Oh, actually, you didn't hear that? That is Trump's mask is Mike Pence.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh, it's definitely not Mother.
Man. So, some of the interesting stuff that did go on this week. Apparently, you know, Herman Cain passed away 2 weeks ago, but apparently, he's tweeting from the dead. Is what happened earlier this week on Herman Cain's Twitter. He posted this was after Biden had selected Kamala Harris, and we'll talk about that. Okay. But on his Twitter, he posted, just in case you thought Biden's candidacy was going to be anything other than completely nuts, Team Trump has released a new video, and then he gives a link to the video. But here's the weird thing. I'm not 100% certain on exactly how Twitter works, but I know that when you hashtag something, generally you're trying to bring attention to it. In Herman Cain's Twitter, he hashtagged Joe Biden, hashtag Kamala Harris. I find this extremely odd. Like, why wouldn't he have hashtagged, you know, Trump Pence or the real Donald Trump, something like that? It did actually turn out later that the Herman Cain group, I guess, is what they're calling themselves, the Cain Gang, which, by the way, that's probably a terrible name for
that's awful. That is the worst thing you could say.
The Cain Gang.
That's what they call themselves. It's
I think of the movie Life as soon as I hear that.
No. I think Roots, like that.
Roots.
LeVar Burton getting. I mean, it wasn't a Cain, but it was, you know. But yeah. So that's. By the way, if you have not seen Roots, easily one of the greatest shows that's ever been produced. If you're looking for what potentially could be just depending on the way you think and whatnot, it could potentially be life altering. I mean, it is a fantastic series. I insist you watch.
It was life altering when LeVar Burton got blinded in Star Trek. Okay, I was left scarred when that shit happened. I ain't lying to you.
Man.
Okay, let me see.
So anyway,
I was trying to see. I'm trying to see if I had one that was life changing for myself. Oh no, it was pretty sad whenever I thought Ted died in the first Ted.
Are we talking about the bear?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I'm gonna give this one.
Dude, I was like, no,
it's Ted. He's funny. He can't die.
This was me straight out of 1991, so I'm afraid both of you guys are probably not old enough. But
I was actually born that year, so
I know. I'm gonna say I think when Doc Brown decided not to come back to the present, when he drove his tracks on there, that did drop a little tear.
Oh, y'all are
Marty McFly was on the side. Yeah.
Yes, kind of. Exactly. If you was kind of if it wasn't a tear that he was blinded for you, would you like?
No. Like I'm talking about like let me go. Like when because they put him at like the bottom of some kind of pit, and it was really fucked up. And if I'm remembering it correctly.
What are we talking about?
How Jordy got blinded in Star Trek.
No,
it happens in one of the movies or one of the. No, it was like not cool.
I don't remember that at all. I thought he was always blind. Like I know at one point he was not blind, but I think they put you know what, we're talking about Star Trek.
You know what made me cry? I'll tell you the tearjerker movie for me most recently that made me
Lady
cry.
and the Tramp.
No, was Onward. He's trying to bring his dad back because he's never met his dad.
Oh yeah, okay.
And they go on the brothers go on the adventure. Like Gabrielle was looking at me, and I'm sitting there at the beginning of the movie, just bawling my eyes out. and they're like, "What?" I was like, "If I could have my dad's legs, I would carry him around." I don't know. Like it's just one of those things, man. I'm telling you, like it hit a chord with me.
It hits you hard.
I was like, "Oh, you bastards at Disney have said it again."
You did it. It was first Mulan. Now you do.
No, I haven't cared for an animated Disney movie since Hercules. So not to get off track.
Man, really?
And
not even like Emperor's New Groove.
Man.
Oh wow. Okay.
Hercules, they used to water those first.
That's
like the white boys say on the internet. What are those?
So I did have a story that I wanted to read last week, and I don't know how late we'll go tonight. We probably won't go too terribly late, but I did have a story I wanted to read last week. There's a man in Louisiana who is serving a life sentence for stealing hedge clippers. I don't know if you saw this headline last week.
I think I did.
His name is Fairwayne Bryant, and he was arrested after he had stolen a pair of hedge clippers from a carport storeroom in the home of Shreveport, in a home in Shreveport, Louisiana. He was 38 at the time that he did this, back in 1997. Now, he had several other convictions before this, including one 10-year stint in prison where he was, it was for a robbery, and actually, Ami looked it up for us. But it was with a deadly weapon. It was I think, if I remember correctly, she'd have to correct me, but there may have been.
Shame on him. But in '97, he went back for stealing hedge clippers.
So Louisiana has, and this is straight out of Jim Crow laws.
3 strikes you're out law.
It's not even that. It's actually they put you down as if you are arrested multiple times for multiple crimes, they mark you down as a habitual
offender.
What do they call it?
Offender.
Yeah, a habitual offender, and he's, there have been other convictions of possession of stolen things, attempted forgery, simple burglary, just a habitual rap sheet of just offensives. But the current stint that he's in since 1997 now for 23 years has been for stealing hedge clippers. He did recently. This was the article came out. They did attempt to appeal his sentence to Louisiana Supreme Court. And this is how telling it is in Louisiana. I get that, we're seeing progress across the country in respect to Confederate monuments coming down and things like that. But all to say that at 61 years of age, the Louisiana Supreme Court has declined his request to review the sentence by Bryant, arguing that earlier in appeals, the sentence was unconstitutionally harsh. 5 of the court's 7 justices are all white men. They denied his request without saying why. So there was no, normally when a Supreme Court actually states a reason for why they judge something, they give you a complete breakdown of the reasoning.
That should be constitutionally protected as well. That if this is the judgment, you tell us why.
Right.
I need to know why.
Yeah.
But I guess that would have to be like in court too, because if the jury gets up there and says he's guilty, they don't say why you're guilty.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Why we feel like you're guilty.
They at least tell you that you've been convicted. You're convicted on these crimes.
Yeah.
And that the sentence that and then a judge or a jury decides the sentence.
Yeah.
But one of the justices, Scott Kirchton, I don't know. He recused himself from the case, while the Chief Justice, Burnett Johnson, actually a black woman who was the Chief Justice, she wrote a dissent that the sentence was excessive and compared it to the post-Reconstruction era laws that mandated harsh penalties to petty theft associated with poverty and race. So Jim Crow. but yeah, so that's like I said, we are seeing progress across the country, especially in the South, but it's still an issue. And that to me is just absolutely telling.
They let out Roger Stone and wouldn't let out this guy for stealing hedge clippers.
Dude, they let people
crazy.
they let people out who commit federal fucking crimes.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
And a dude steals some hedge clippers, and they're like, "Well, here's what it is."
You mean to tell me everybody?
Don't gotta tell you why.
Everybody that they're letting go because of COVID right now, and this can't be one of the guys that actually frees some space up.
No kidding. And Louisiana was their numbers were going up for a little while too. So
that's what I'm saying, man.
Imagine the people who were in jail for like dime bags of weed.
That's what I'm saying. Doing years.
Like dudes, like what happened? You had 16 ounces of weed on you, and you're going to jail for life. Yeah, pot smuggling jerk off, like, dude. And then like those people go out, but homeboy with the hedge clippers stuck in like the Supreme Court. And once you're tried, you can't like go
back. No,
you can't go back down the bar. It's like, I like this guy is really starting to exhaust some resources over some bullshit.
Yeah, it's Ami wrote in on the Facebook. It is systemic and insane. Absolutely.
Yes. Thank you for watching, Ami.
She broke her silence.
She did.
So here's something also that really irritated me from this week. I don't want to sound like lots of things irritate me, but
what really grinds your gears.
Yeah.
Apparently, Mikey's watching right now. Oh, my bad. Sorry.
You're fine.
Mikey's watching right now. We want to, Mikey. We want to get you on next week. I'm not sure.
Yes, Mikey. We do want to talk to you.
Mikey's actually one of the people on the front lines of the COVID-19. He's one of those guy nurses. So
okay, yeah,
we want to get him in.
Let's work that out. I did. So, of course, excited, Joe Biden has selected Kamala Harris, senator from California, as his running mate for vice president. And I think that I have said this before. I fully believe that Biden, if elected, will be a one-term president because he can't run again, but he's old. He's 77 years old. He's going to be the oldest man elected president, barring the Trump winning. But selecting Kamala Harris was, I think, it was a smart move, one, for him, because this is one of the things that a lot of people said. If he did not select a woman and a woman of color, that it was going to deteriorate. This music's kind of weird for this conversation, but it was going to take away from the potential of his election. That people were not going to be very excited about it. Kamala Harris adds some excitement. And I think that it's very telling in the way Trump reacted to the announcement, in that when she was announced, of course, he came out later. And the first thing he said was, it's ridiculous that Biden used Twitter to announce that Kamala Harris was his running mate, which is literally exact.
That's how we get every information from you, sir.
What else was he going to do?
Not only that, he literally tweeted that Mike Pence was his selection before it broke the news. The news got it from his Twitter because that's how he broke the story.
And then he had that messed up emblem with the T and the P, and then everyone's like,
I don't like that.
Funny?
Can we change that?
And then he was like, no, Mike. Mike, your emblem has to go. People are saying no. All right.
Well, so the next reaction we get out of Trump is this weird sort of throwing together of just nonsense, where apparently he tried to attempt to promote the idea that Kamala Harris is not an American citizen, therefore not eligible to be vice president.
She is.
Because of course, you have to be a naturally born citizen.
Jamaican father, Indian mother.
Yeah. So what he said is that there are claims on social media that Harris might not be eligible to serve as president or vice president. He was then asked if he can definitively say that she meets the requirements, and Trump said, "I heard today that she doesn't meet the requirements." He referenced to a lawyer who raised the issue in a Newsweek article. Chapman University professor John Eastman as very highly qualified. Trump then said that he has no idea whether it's true, but Trump, all he has to do is just throw it out there, and then his 36% will run with it as though it's it was.
He did the same thing to Obama. Said Obama wasn't.
Yeah. So, it's all scumbag.
And it didn't. Here's the thing. It didn't work. It didn't really work with Obama, except for the Tea Partiers and whatnot. But it's just complete nonsense. I mean, Obama's mother is Native American born. Yeah, I get his father's Kenyan, and that's whatever. But he was born in Hawaii.
Yeah,
and we know this because there's a birth certificate
and he was born when it was a state. We confirmed that on the show.
We did.
We did confirm that. We did
our Googles.
That episode. That was good. Also this week, I don't know who the reporter is, and there is video to support it. But a reporter in one of the White House briefings really pissed Trump off.
He did.
He asked him if Trump regrets all of the lying that he's been doing to the American people over the last 3.5 years.
That's your shot. That guy took his shot.
That's what you got to do. You got to keep shooting.
That's what I want. I want reporters to ask questions that they don't want, that these politicians don't want to answer.
Yes,
and I don't know if he channeled me or maybe he listens to the pod, but that was exactly the type of questions I want to ask. Those are because I get it. It's going to piss him off. And in this case, he didn't even bother to answer. He just
he knew not. He knew not.
Well, I'll tell you. Let me frame it like this, guys. There's definitely podcasts we do, right, where you'll go back and listen to, and you'll go like, "Nah, I wish I didn't ask that question. I sounded a little this way or that way when I listened to it." Trump, you got 4 years of that shit to have to relive, and not only that, whenever, say you get 4 more years, you have 8 years of work. When you're done, people are gonna be like, "Remember how dumb this guy was." You remember that stupid shit. And
there's no way. History is gonna look back and go and say, you know what, we get it. Like I'm not even saying like 20 years from now. I'm saying like 5 years from now, if Trump doesn't get reelected, I fully believe that there's going to be a complete reversal by all of these people that supported him now. They're going to look back and go, well, he was the Republican. That was who we had as the choice. No, you had plenty of choices. There were 18 Republicans on that stage initially that you could have picked from, but you all picked the guy that was the least Republican, the guy that was the least representative of what we want America to look like outside of these borders. That you picked the guy that is uncontrollable. I have this belief that there is no way that the red button is anywhere in his vicinity, because he would just stumble over it, or he'd drop his Big Mac kit, whatever.
I don't know how to hit with my 9-iron with the KFC 12-piece under my arm. My hands are greasy. Like Trump. The people who voted for Trump are still going to be out there.
Yeah,
when he's gone.
And I was about to say, don't be surprised if he makes it on Mount Rushmore.
But what they asked for was somebody
don't be surprised. Don't be surprised.
Trent, they ain't gonna touch Mount Rushmore. I promise you.
Hey, you don't do a speech at Mount Rushmore saying you're gonna insure us and it's never gonna go nowhere. The only way I can see that insuring if his face is on it and he's like, "Hey, make sure that doesn't get touched at all."
Was anyone actually legitimately having any sort of conversation about the idea that the faces on Mount Rushmore needed to come down before Trump started talking?
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to figure out, like, why did he go to, like, nobody was about to climb up a mountain to deface Mount Rushmore. Nobody.
Wesley commented on Facebook, said, "But old boy is a straight up dipshit, though." Old boy is a straight up dipshit.
The conversations to a lot of these things don't come up until he talks about it. It's because he heard some nonsense come out of Tucker Carlson's mouth on Fox News or Sean Hannity, and it's like, or crap. All I can do is just think of names: Laura Ingraham, Judge Jeanine Pirro. It is. I hear the most ridiculous things. Okay, so just
quick story before I move on to the next headline. There was I was driving Saturday morning to the lake to put in, and I was listening to a replay of Fox 5, not Fox 5, of the 5 on Fox News. I was listening to a replay because if you listen to the last 10 or 15 minutes, generally it's probably the most entertaining portion of the show, because that's the point at which they have beaten up whoever the liberal is on the show enough to the point where he or she is now attacking them back, and them just being completely shut down. I don't know why they still have this show on the air. Anyway. So, but I tuned in to get that portion. Well, I guess the liberal had already been run off, because all it was them talking about dreams. Jesse Waters is talking about his dream from the night before, how he went on some camping trip, and that one of the other, and I thought it was going to go a really weird place, not necessarily weird for Fox News, because Fox News has a tendency to have some of the sexual harassers. But he was saying that, somebody asked who started the campfire, and then he immediately pointed out that it was one woman on the show that did the campfire, and then he pointed out that one of the other women was doing the cooking, and then you see where it's going.
Yeah, servitude.
It was very, it was very well, masculine, sort of like what's the term? Misogynistic. It was very misogynistic.
Yeah.
It was, and I felt, even just listening to it, knowing that it was a replay, I still felt like I wanted to reach out and just be like, "You asshole!"
Well,
this is awful.
For anybody who hasn't seen it yet, Barrett and I were talking about, before the show started, American Pickle with Seth Rogen, which is fantastic, by the way. But he goes on a whole thing. It's like these people are stuck in time. Women have small hands, and therefore they can go cook, and that's what they do. And they want to take care of things. They have a vagina, so they take care of that coming out. They produce things and you're going like, what the hell? But it's no different than the shit you are hearing coming out of right-leaning, right-winged, if we want to go there. But
I'm so tired of hearing about these wings, man. If I hear a left or a right wing again, man,
I'm so tired of it too. I literally am. But
I just want to leave that word in 2020.
But the thing is, you'll find somebody like, what's the blonde-haired woman who was on Glenn Beck's show and then got fired for it, but she came out and she's like, yeah, all this stuff, and like just being so like observant to like this stereotypical thing, like you're woman, you can go do whatever you want, you don't have to like be like the baby bearer. I'm at home, I'm a stay-at-home mother, like if that's what you want to do and that's truly what you want to do,
yes,
more power to you. I am not saying that's not cool.
Yeah.
But the fact that like people are literally like degrading your gender when they say it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and put this out here, and also I'm gonna finish my thought. I think Kamala Harris is going to make a great vice president.
I do too.
I think
too.
That, and
well, and you said something that Tucker Carlson can't say.
Which part?
Kamala.
Yeah. Kamala. Yeah.
He got so upset about that.
Oh,
I've never seen somebody get so upset about a name.
But legitimately, that is the least he can do to show respect to the fact that this woman is now going to be a candidate for vice president and could be a vice president. The least amount of respect you can show is to call her by her actual name.
This is what he does.
Don't get me wrong. I mucked up. I published on our Instagram. I published her name incorrectly, but it was an autocorrect because legitimately I have a friend whose name is Kamala, or actually, I'm sorry. I have a friend whose name is Camilla, and the name, my autocorrect thought that I was writing Camilla instead of Kamala.
Okay.
So shout out to Camilla. You got mistaken with Kamala.
Camille's could be confused with Kamala, but when someone directly tells you your face, like,
how to say it.
By the way, just so you know, her name is Kamala. You can spread that around and tell everybody else it's Law.
Yeah.
So
I want to go ahead and put this out there though. So what I want is everyone listening to the show, if you can come up with things that you want to be left in 2020, you can all leave a message. We'll put your voicemail on the show, 803-672-0533. We'll put go to our website, theallaboutnothing.com, and you can find the phone number there as well. But I want things that we have to leave in 2020 and never see again.
I told you, man, it's the wings for me. I don't want to hear no left wing, no right wing. We are all one bird.
Here's looking at you, Wesley. Wesley, you look like you have some stuff to say and good stuff, and I know you do. So if you have something to say, everybody call in.
We'll play the message.
720-533. So we'll do that. So okay, so we and we're not gonna spend a whole lot more time because we're pushing it, but
we'll give the people what they want. We'll give them what they want.
Oh yeah. So Trump says that he is opposed to funding the USPS because of mail-in voting. He admitted it this week that one of the reasons that he will not support this bill that the Democrats are trying to push through the House, a $2 trillion bill that would allocate $25 billion to the United States Postal Service, which, by the way, is constitutionally endowed to the United States. I mean, it is specifically there for the United States. We've had the Postal Service before the country was a country. So, but he admitted this week that one of the reasons that he does not want to sign this bill is because of the money allocated by the Democrats to the United States Postal Service in order to prepare for an influx of mail-in balloting. He admitted that this week. And then immediately after that, the news broke that Trump requested his mail-in balloting for the Florida primary that's coming up. So he legitimately, I want to.
That story goes a little bit deeper. It goes a little deeper because they said I was doing some research, and him and Jeff Bezos from Amazon, they do not get along.
No, not remotely.
And he owns the Washington Post.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're saying because Jeff Bezos doesn't pay any taxes, basically, and because when Amazon doesn't have, well, I guess the mile shipping, is that what they call it? It's like 1 mile shipping.
Well, that's your
like the post office will pick up what Amazon can't do if they don't feel like they can make any money off of it.
Exactly. I mean, they pay you by the mile.
On it. Yes.
Yes.
So basically, that's the reason why the post office has been seeing a lot of delays, is because Amazon has been getting booked up so much with the last mile shipping. So they've been saying, hey, y'all deliver these. And they're saying, if we give you all this money, we're basically just paying Amazon back. So
you know what they need for Amazon people, because Amazon delivery drivers suck.
They park in the middle of the road.
Bruh, who needs body cams?
In the middle of the road.
Fucking Amazon drivers need body cams, dude. And I want to see a video when they say it's delivered of them throwing my package against someone else's fucking door and it land. And so also, you should they need to pay to have a little tracker. So when you don't deliver it to my door, Amazon, this is not the USPS, they know my mailbox easily.
Yeah, and I'm thinking like this: why can't both of them get together? Why can't we use both of these?
Amazon does. I just had I had my adapter over here, just ordered by one was the Postal Service, one was Amazon.
We should definitely be able to.
And I had to go next door to go find. Luckily, no one lives there. I'm just and now people are looking at me like I'm a porch pirate. And I'm just like, no, it has my name on it. I'm just holding it out this is mine. I'll show someone's secretly filming me this asshole. No, it's not. They put it on the wrong door. I had to do that 3 times. If I had to do it one more time.
Well, I can tell you this, Zach. It wouldn't go so good if I was at that porch.
No.
Hey, this is mine.
What is this bearded hillbilly doing? I'm like, it's got my name on it, damn it. I'm calling the police. Let's go.
That's funny. That's sad. It shouldn't be that way, but that is funny.
It's the same people, except for it's the same people they hire. Trent, also Barrett, if you could pull that up again. There's a guy who photobombed us at that Sister Hazel concert that worked at Amazon. Yeah, we'll have to do it another time. But he worked at Amazon, and I laughed, and I was like, "No, Barrett, Trent probably knows that guy too, because he was the predominant Amazon guy."
Hey, but the people that with the high numbers, I know them all.
Yeah, well, it's the same people. Amazon was like, "Well, you've never murdered anybody." That that's a great start. You're hired.
And you seem in shape, so
yeah. And then people
will make you get in shape no matter what.
People who had criminal records, they still let work there, but they caught your ass. I cannot tell you how many times I've like seen people who like thought they could get past a metal detector with an iPhone in their pocket.
I knew exactly what was going on when Amazon stopped saying they was like, you don't even need to have a high school diploma anymore.
Yeah,
just anybody
driving the truck.
Yeah, if you can drive, come on, please.
It's the people who are like, these aren't my brakes. When I miss the stop, I'm slamming 2 feet on that brake pedal. Like,
jeez.
It's just. And guys, listen. That doesn't go. Any of you out there listening that are not those Amazon drivers, fucking keep on.
No, you've already alienated all of them. They're all alienated at this point.
We gotta show love still. That's how we show love.
I mean, if you're not that person and you're like matching numbers and you're making sure you're just like looking and checking it out and making sure that you're delivering the package to, I don't know, the right house. Thank you. But when you're the guy who's delivering it to like 2 blocks down and send me a picture and I look at it and be like, my house isn't blue. Then you're like, well, I got some. You have to turn into Sherlock Holmes and go figure out blue.
I know plenty of people that have had to do that. They know that their stuff has been marked delivered, and they literally have to go around trying to find where.
Oh my god!
Because Amazon says that it was delivered. UPS says, it's an Amazon delivery. Whatever. It legitimately, I know many people that have I sound like Trump. I hear a lot of people talk about
many people. They're not my friends, but
I'll tell you this about UPS. UPS will get it to your house. It doesn't mean they didn't drop kick it like fucking Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh man,
like, my door was fine when I got here. Like, we kicked it into it. Sorry, it was fine.
Well, all right, guys. Guess what time it is?
Irresponsible headlines.
Woo! So I'm I don't want to scare any of the children that might be watching, but this is your photo this week. This is your photo. So in the news this week, of course, I'm not sure if everyone heard it, but Trump did get a little bit upset about the fact that his hair is no longer as beautiful as it was.
Trent didn't get to see it beforehand, so his reaction is
I gotta go first. Can I please go first?
Oh, let Trent go first.
Can I go first? It's on the top. Okay. The irresponsible headline would be "Gone with the Wind."
Nice. That's good. That's terrific.
No.
That's terrific. Way to go.
I'm gonna one up you, Trent.
Okay.
Trump's hair knows he's losing the election, so it's gonna run. It'll run so far away. It's gotta get away.
No, that's good. I'm gonna say, oh goodness, I don't know. This one just sort of it tells itself. But I just want to say, this is an actual photo. This is a real photo. This is not doctored in any way, shape, or form. This is, I have to assume that I don't know. I don't know that I can come up with one.
Well, I'll tell you this. Aquanet doesn't fuck around. That shit is still stuck together and above his head. Like, it just lifted. Like, you put that on a Boeing 747 and you're gone, buddy.
This should be the ad for Flex Seal.
Yeah, I'm at a loss. Like, I can't. I look at that and I'm just like, clearly this is the president's bedhead is what this is. Like,
this is what happened.
It was taken outside. It was taken outside. This can't be the results of the helicopters, or else we'd ground every helicopter. There would never be another firing helicopter. They would be in a museum.
It's so almost level too, man.
You say there won't be no more helicopters?
Yeah, no. If this was caused by a helicopter, the air under a helicopter, we would never see helicopters fly again. He would sign an executive order.
You can see how like little his head is too. Like, That shit is X-ray.
Do you see his eyebrows?
Well,
Black.
yeah.
And I can't say much because mine get like that, and then I have to trim those off.
Barrett, you
Is
and
that
I,
ear hair?
we're cut from the same cloth, where we have thick eyebrows, but we know it. If he cut that off, he would be up there looking like a naked mole rat.
This
Like
looks
he would have no. He can't grow a beard. People I'm gonna say it again, Trent. Right wing people show him with a beard. Like, look how badass he'd be with a shaved head and a beard. That man can't grow a beard. Let him grow a
I
mustache.
bet he can.
It looks like this should be the new cover art for Drake's new album.
Oh man.
Oh boy! Please let that happen.
That'd be crazy.
Hey! It started from the bottom. Now it's here.
Now it's here. Oh, you gotta say here. Oh man, that was good. That's the one. That's the one. Started from the bottom. Now it's here.
Oh Lord. All right. Well, I will put a link to on our website to the photo in case you're listening and you haven't gotten an opportunity.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
No, we had to
This
go in
is-
on it. This
this-
is ridiculous.
This is what presidential portrait. This is what
Bro,
the presidential portrait should be.
If somebody
Oh
showed
my
me a
God.
picture of me walking in my hair to that, I'd be like, guess what's happening? Taking it all off. It's all gone, bro.
I want to get that framed in my house. Like that.
I want it too.
That's hilarious.
That's complete resentment plus like his face is saying, I know that there's someone's taking a fucking picture of this.
I know they're getting me.
the left wing.
The left.
They're at it again.
Damn.
Ami says it's the Ami says it looks like the like they let the mortician interns prepare the body. That's terrific. That's very funny.
Fluoride does the body good.
That's very funny.
God.
That's
Oh
good.
my God.
Good one to me. Good one.
Oh, all
For
right,
a woman
fellas.
with no humor. That was a good one.
Don't do it like Zach. Zach, you can't be insulting our listeners.
No, she'll be the first to tell you as she
Okay.
tells me.
Man. Well, this was an excellent show, guys. I
It was.
enjoyed it thoroughly. I want to again thank Justin Osborne for being on from SUSTO, and I will put links to where you can get his music downloaded from Apple Music, as well as all of the other major digital platforms. Please make sure also check us out. Visit our webpage, theallaboutnothing.com. Also, we're on Twitter at AAN_pod. Again, please, I really want people to start calling in with the things that they want to leave in 2020. So we're getting closer to the end of the year. I know it's only August,
It's close, though.
but I think now is the point in time where we want to start writing down or start, keeping track of the things we want to leave in 2020, because depending on how this year ends, we may have already forgotten them, but we want to make sure that we get those in. So 803-672-0533, or you can email us at the show at theallaboutnothing.com. Whatever podcast platform you're listening to, please subscribe, rate, and review. Again, I am at Barrett Gruber on Twitter. Zach is at Carolina King 21.
I'm on
we've also
Instagram.
got
I'm on Instagram.
What's your Instagram, Trent?
It's
on
at,
Instagram.
it's at God Lonzo the Goat. I know it's a
At
lot.
Lonzo.
G-O-D.
GODLONZOTHEGOAT.
There we go. Well,
You
the
get
good
what I'm
news
saying?
is I'll link it on the webpage.
She's gonna link it.
Yeah, we're gonna link it. Well,
Link it.
and
Hey,
also,
Zach, don't steal our merchandise that Justin is gonna send us. 'Cause
I
I
was,
know all the sister stuff. He said for everybody now, don't steal it.
I was gonna say you're gonna see. I'm gonna hold Justin to it. Nose to the grindstone on that one. I'm gonna say, hey, you said a box of stuff.
You
Now-
sent a box of stuff.
So you'll see us repping some more Susto stuff. And also, there you heard it. I had my suspicions because I'm a fanatic, but new album coming out, and he's writing it. He's been writing it.
He
And
broke it on All About Nothing podcast. You heard it first.
Yeah, and he also I mean he talked about what it's going to be about, and I mean for me personally, he hit two major topics. I'm a dad, and I lost my dad.
Same. That's me too.
I meant to tell him I was on there. I'll have to text him and be like, your album is probably going to make me cry a lot.
It's my life.
Yeah, like
my life.
You're probably going to make me cry a lot. So I appreciate that. But everybody go to your iTunes, go to your Spotify, go to
YouTube
your
Music.
Amazon Music, YouTube, SUSTO, SUSTO. Check him out. The man is so talented. He can play piano. I mean, he does these acapella, he uses nylon string guitars, acapellas with some ladies that are just like perfect matches. Everybody go, please check him out. Check out SUSTO.
Yeah, definitely. All right, fellas, thank you very much for this week. It was terrific. Trent Clark, Zach King, Barrett Gruber, we are out. You all have a great week. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, guys.
Later, guys. Have a week.
Awesome.